Islanders no score in Montreal at the end of 2 periods. The art of hockey photography is as complex as the game itself. Recently, Stan Fischler visited with crack NHL photographer Bruce Bennett to get insights into his trade.
Here is the tool of the hockey photography trade, and here we have the titan of hockey photography, Bruce Bennett, a man who has been shooting hockey photos for the past decade, I would think, and probably is the best at it in the entire National Hockey League. Now, Bruce, this camera you have here, tell us a little bit about it, how much it's worth, and what you can do with it.
Well, this combination here, telephoto lens, 180 millimeter telephoto, motor drive, and a camera body, runs about $900 to $1,000. Cameras such as this allow us to shoot at 3 to 4 frames a second, and that helps us a lot with the high speed of hockey.
Now, in the speed of a game, is there any kind of action that is actually too fast to shoot, like the puck? Does it ever blur on you?
Sometimes when we'll shoot color film, we have to be careful with the slower shutter speed that we need with color film. We'll have some blurring in the arms occasionally and the skates and with the puck. But for the most part, we can capture just about anything on film.
And speaking of capturing anything on film, what Bruce has done is gone into the Islander locker room, behind the Islander scenes, and he's come up with some really extraordinary, offbeat, and in many cases, rather humorous photos. We're going to take a look at them and get the story behind the photos.
Our first photo is a picture of Gordy Dineen of the Islanders and Thomas Janssen. This was shot on New Year's Eve in Bloomington, Minnesota, just after an Islander-Minnesota game, and the two guys were getting ready to go out on the town.
Now, in a case like this, were you just hanging around waiting for a good shot, or did it develop all by itself?
Well, I flew up to Minnesota on my own, just thinking that there might be some good photo opportunities there, either before the game or at the practice during the day, after the game, just to see what kind of behind-the-scenes photos I could capture of the team on a day such as that. Our next photo was shot at training camp. This is former Islander Wayne Merrick taking a blood test and reacting like, I guess, many fans and many people react when blood is taken out.
Do you ever find that the players are embarrassed by some of the pictures you take? I would think that a guy might not appreciate seeing himself displaying obvious pain that way. What about it?
Well, I'm not sure if Wayne has seen this picture or not, but I think for the most part they know that their lives are open to the press to a large extent, and I try to be as quiet and in the background as possible, so the players don't really know for the most part that I'm there.
You may be hearing from Wayne Merrick in the next couple of days.
I'm afraid I might. This photo was also taken in Bloomington, Minnesota on New Year's Eve. When I arrived at the Met Center in Bloomington, there were only 2 or 3 players left on the ice for the optional day of the game skate. One player remained long after everybody else, and that was Bobby Nystrom. I guess if anyone wants to call it the Islander work ethic or whatnot, he was out there shooting pucks, and I stayed out there and shot about 20 to 30 frames and came out with one that had the right composition. This is a favorite photo. This was shot in the airport at Edmonton as the players flew in for one of the finals.
This is historic. This is a practical joke that you hear about actually captured on film. Now, how did that all happen?
Well, we were all online for customs, and as I looked over, one of the players had hooked Mats Helin up to the post there, and as he took step by step slowly, he pulled the stanchion over. And of course everyone knew about it, and as soon as it hit ground, they all turned around and said, "Oh, Mats!" And I was real happy with that photo.
Mats probably wasn't. Good thing he's not here anymore.
That's right.
This is hockey beefcake.
This is it. This is the epitome of Mr. Islander. John Tonelli taking a break between practice sessions at Caniag Park in Hicksville. It's one of those things that if you hang around long enough and you put in the time, you're going to see things like this, and you're going to be able to capture it on film.
Well, Bruce, this demonstrates that you are the king of the lens, the ace of NHL hockey pictures.
Thank you, Stan.
Well, a look at some of the great shots in hockey. The snapshots of Bruce Bennett. The score here in Montreal, the Canadiens 3, the Islanders nothing. We'll return to the forum after we pause for these messages.